Good morning. We're in Mount Vernon, Washington at Freightliner Northwest, where our motorhome's been here for the last month getting repairs done, and new electronic computers for the engine management system were installed. This is also the first time we've been in Washington for 10 years, so we've taken a little bit of time, visited some friends, went and drove around the old homestead and checked it out.
So everyone must be wondering why we're picking up a motorhome after 10 years. Well, when we relocated 10 years ago to Florida to be closer to our kids, we said, oh, we'll come back, we'll take a trip back, we'll bring the motorhome back east. And I don't know what happened. It just never happened. Life happened. We got a new place to live. Living in a new area. We were working full time. I can't explain it. But so out of the blue, last February, one of our daughters called us and said, "What are you going to do with the motorhome?" Of course, that was the question of the years. And they expressed interest in having it. So what we did is we took it out of storage. It had been in covered storage for 10 years. We took it out of storage, had it brought over here to Freightliner in Mount Vernon, and they've worked on it. They have it running. The engine's running well. The generator's running well. We've been in the motorhome for 2.5 days. We've cleaned it from stem to stern on the inside. It was a little dusty for sitting for a while. With the help of family, we borrowed a vacuum cleaner, some cleaning products, on and on and on. So we are leaving this morning, and our goal is to drive it from Mount Vernon, Washington to just outside of Boise, Idaho, to visit family. So we will keep you updated on our adventure. Got anything to add?
No, we're going to get underway here in the next 35 minutes. We have to drop the car off at the rental place, and then we're going to get out of Dodge, so to speak. Hopefully, cross our fingers that everything's going to work fine. The old girl hasn't been on the road in a long, long time, so...
And we only want her to do 2,500 miles.
Yeah, we're nuts.
Well, stay tuned, because I'm sure this adventure will continue on. Talk to you all soon. Well, we're leaving Mount Vernon, Washington, and heading to Everett to drop off our rental car. And we're excited about going and kind of nervous about going. But everything went really smooth that very first part of the trip. We got to the airport. Had a little trouble getting in the gate with the rental car, but I finally figured it out. And we dropped off the car, and Mark was waiting for me in the little turnout there where you do arrivals and departures at Payne Field. And this is before 8 o'clock in the morning. There is nobody there. The only person I saw...
Security.
The only people I saw were one person dropping off their car like me, and the gal that was in the parking lot cleaning the cars. There wasn't anybody being dropped off for a flight. So Mark was had the big old 40-foot motorhome sitting there waiting for me to walk across the parking lot to get in the car. And in that short amount of time, security had the little flashing lights on behind Mark in the motorhome and came up to the window and said, "Sir, you can't park here because you're blocking traffic."
Duh.
Except there was no traffic. And we told him, we were leaving and sorry, but I think he was taking his job very seriously. So we dropped off the car, and then we headed onward to, the plan was to pick up I-405, which goes around Seattle. But we turned too soon. And since we turned too soon, we ended up in downtown Bothell, which is not where we really wanted to go with the motorhome.
No. So, due to who knows what, not able to read a map or the signs or everything, whatever.
All of the above.
All of the above. We took a right, one exit too soon from the one we were supposed to take for 405, which routed us through a very nice rural section of Bothell. And by the time we figured out we'd screwed up and we figured out how to get back, we were kind of stuck. And there was a lot of traffic, so add spice. But the drive, most of it was through housing, and we had a large downhill run, and noticed a brake smell, hot smell. The further down that hill we went, the more the odor was. If you haven't smelled burnt brakes or clutch, it's a unique smell. And
it's a scary smell.
Yeah, she wasn't impressed. And then we started having smoke come up through the front end of the motorhome through the venting, which of course got everybody's attention. Problem was there was absolutely nowhere to stop. I mean, we were in the middle of downtown and nothing of size for us to get in and out of. So we came up to a stoplight, and we were sitting there for about 4 lights because the traffic was backed up so bad. So just on a whim decided to cycle a parking brake, which is an air brake, part of the air brake system. So we cycled it several times, and because my thought was that maybe one of the brakes was hanging up, because they did redo the front, and there was some issues when the folks at Freightliner were working on it. So anyway, cycled the brakes, parking brake a couple, 2-3 times. She's anxiously searching on her phone, trying to find a place that could look at us, or another Freightliner, or
frantically scrolling to see if there was a Freightliner
stop or something that'd be in our path before we're completely plugged up downtown Bothell. But I mean, within a few minutes time, the smoke stopped. The smoke stopped almost immediately, and the odor cleared within, I don't know, 15 minutes maybe. So the only thing I can attribute the issue to was when we were going down this big hill, I was riding the brakes most of the time. And maybe one of the shoes hung up or something. Anyway, after that, seemed to work fine, so saved us from having to find another shop to look at it. So, but
he's making it sound so calm. I tell you, I was just totally freaking out. Just totally freaking out. We were sitting there, and it was sunny outside, and I'm looking out the window, and I go, "What is that?" And he goes, "I think that's smoke." And I said, "Is that coming from us?" He goes, "Yes." It was a scary moment. That was a scary misadventure is what I call it. At any rate, we didn't have any more problems with that. And we feel blessed and fortunate because, again, as you all know, who's following this series, this motorhome had sat for 10 years and then got worked on. So, we didn't know what we were going to come across. So we...
maiden run.
I know, it was like a maiden voyage. So then after that, we actually managed to find our way to I-405 to go around Seattle and headed onward on our journey. So have you ever experienced a scary moment while you're out traveling in your RV? If you do, put some comments below. Would love to hear from you. Also, we are doing a series of our adventures going across country, and this is our second part. Um, if you are enjoying our series, please give us a like and subscribe. We would really appreciate it.
Hi everyone. Just wanted to give you an update. It's now the end of day one. We've gone about 525 miles. We left Mount Vernon, Washington, and we ended in Idaho at Denise's brother's place for the night. We were on the road about 9.5 hours, give or take. Overall, it was about a 12-hour day, though, between the slowdowns and the stops for fuel and all that good stuff.
Plus, we lost an hour because now we're in mountain time.
Yeah, plus we lost an hour. So we went over the Cascades. We went over the Blue Mountains. It was hot, but the motorhome did well, really. We were quite concerned about it, having been in storage for so many years, but the old girl actually did pretty darn good. So we're happy. It was a long, long day, but it was nice to land it at Denise's brother's place and be able to relax for a little bit.
Some of our takeaways from our visit in Washington was we love seeing friends and family that we haven't seen in a long time. Most of our friends we haven't seen in 10 years. My sister and brother-in-law we haven't seen in 2 or 3 years. A big shout out to them for helping so much. We borrowed a vacuum cleaner and cleaning supplies and to work on the motorhome before we left, so it was really nice to have their support. My friends that we got to see while we were there, which were not very many, was very enjoyable, and we shouldn't wait 10 years to do it. The other thing is it was really just nice being in our old hometown again. It had been such a long time to be there and, to go across the Deception Pass Bridge and just see things that we used to take for granted every single day. And then, of course, the best thing ever was having would-be coffee mocha. I haven't had one of those in 10 years, and it was absolute bliss. So those were my favorites from our trip to Washington. My not-so-favorites is the cost of food and groceries is very high, and the diesel prices were very high. So those couple things were, maybe the sad takeaways. But all in all, we've had a great day. Now we're just going to go and visit the baby brother. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye for now.